Hello, VC, Elvis fans. Tony's LPs are us. I'm Tony. Thanks for stopping in my channel. Really appreciate it. Today we're going to talk about this record. Just came out a few days ago. I just did an unboxing a few hours ago. Got to listen to this. And I would say right off the bat, very impressive sonics. Very black, quiet, no noise, no hiss. I cleaned it with my VPI vacuum cleaner once. I always clean new vinyl. I think there's definitely an advantage to clean new vinyl. I did an AB once, and I think the sound stage is more pronounced. The sonics are better. You get more of a fuller sound because, let's face it, there's stuff in those grooves when the record's pressed that is going to come out if you vacuum it or if you ultrasound clean it or whatever means you have as far as to clean those grooves. So Elvis Presley, Sunset Boulevard, double record set. I have some pros and cons about this record. I did an unboxing. I'm going to show you the actual vinyl. Here is the hype sticker. And the hype sticker will read because it has something to do with some of my criticisms of this record. There's the one of the labels, the classic orange 70s RCA label. This is a Sony Legacy RCA. Here's a great shot in the back with Elvis coming off, I guess, Lisa Marie. Really love that pose. And here he's with two of his guys in a rehearsal. It gives credit to the photographer in the gatefold. No liner notes except for the gatefold here. No pamphlet that it comes with except for what's on the record. Now, when I first bought this record, when I first ordered it, rather, after reading, its press release, I had maybe innocently assumed that these outtakes that were remixed, undubbed on this record and in the CD box set were never released before. I find out that they were released before. I didn't go through my collection to see if I could compare, A, B versus the ones that were, recorded with overdubs such as strings or, background singers and stuff, because the outtakes on here are from 72 and they're the outtake highlights from the CD box set. Part 1 of this record, which is record 1, A and B, are 72 masters. And that's always on my mind. Burning Love, Separate Ways, It's a Matter of Time, For the Good Times, and Fool. So you get a full 6 record, side on side A. Side B, you have Trouble, which is a rocker. Really sounds good. Bringing It Back, Susan When She Tried, Women Without Love, I Can Help, and Pieces of My Life. On side C and D, we have the outtakes. And the outtakes, for me, are what shine on this record because you're hearing Elvis uninhibited, unmixed, unovermixed, overproduced. The guitar is different on Burning Love. That's the single, I guess. You see that, you hear that on some of the ads. Separate Ways is great. Always on my mind. Different acoustics to it. But overall, for me, from after listening to it, you have to really be an Elvis fan to want to go out and buy this record. And obviously, if you're watching this record, you're an Elvis fan or you're an Elvis casual fan that says, a new record on Elvis. I don't have any of these records. Most Elvis fans will have all these records except for side C and D, which are supposedly new mixed outtakes from 72, and side D is 75, which has a great version of Tiger Man, which is off the charts. Green Green Grass of Home has a pure Elvis vocal that it would make you weep. You could just close your eyes, you could see Elvis singing it, and that goes for most of these tracks. Shake a Hand, which is a little upbeat, Shake a Hand, and I Love You So, kind of small C, but that Elvis era. And Fairy Tale, which I not real familiar with, and again we get the first take of Trouble, Trouble, without any overdubs. Sonically, very impressed with record 2. Like I said, that's what I really wanted to hear. Some of the banter in the studio, you get some of it. You hear some of the the session people or his traveling band, his touring band rather, talking. You hear Elvis once in a while. You'll hear Elvis, but as far as this goes, you have to be an Elvis fan to really want to buy this. But if you're just curious about how good Elvis sounded, how good he could sound, how tight his band was, then pick this record up. You can't lose with this record. It's a double record set. It's around the $35 range, which is incredible. The pressing is silent. It's a really good pressing. I didn't track it, but I'm thinking maybe 20 minutes aside, close to that. What's interesting again is I'm going to read the sticker, and this is how I pulled the shrink off, and if you saw my unboxing. But I'm going to read the sticker, and the sticker is interesting because I originally thought that these were unreleased tracks, but they've all been released before. Newly mixed without overdubs by Grammy Award-winning producer Matt Ross Spang. Includes Burning Love, Always on My Mind, Separate Ways, Trouble, and many more. So if you go into these notes here, the technical notes, and the technical notes also include what the albums charted at. And most of these songs charted very high in the country chart. At this point, growing up in the 70s, I kind of lost interest in Elvis. That's why I was dumb. I didn't go see him. He was touring in my area. I'm really sorry about that. It's one of my regrets. I've had a few, but not enough to mention, I guess. So I've had a few regrets. One of that was not seeing Elvis when I had the chance. So it tells you the chart of the pop and the country chart. And these all, I was surprised. They all rated pretty good on the country charts. For instance, right here, It's Only a Matter of Time, 22 on the pop chart, 10 on the country chart, 2 times platinum. Burning Love was 22 on pop, but 10 on country. I would think that would be the flip side. But what I'm really going to concentrate in this review is that the record 2, which is side C and D, and those contain the 72 and the 75 outtakes, are just splendid. Just off the charts. I was smiling, and I actually played a couple tracks again as I was listening to it, but I wanted to get this review out. Now, what's interesting about this is, like I said, I originally thought that these were never released tracks and they newly remixed them without overdubs, but wrongo boyo. Now, what they're telling you is in the liner notes, for instance, Burning Love, that is from March 28, 72, RCA Recording Studios, Hollywood C, which is where these were done. From the FTD album, Sunset, released March 2001. So these records were released, but I guess I don't have all these records. The FTD series, the Follow That Dream series, is a magnificent series, but the records are very hard to find, and once they go out of print, they're astronomical. But the sound is tremendous because they're getting right off the master tapes. I guess they're analog. I'm not really sure. Now, for instance, for the Good Times, which is a Chris Christopherson song, Lucky Chris, right? Elvis got to do it. That's March 27, 72. From the Follow That Dream album, Sunset, again, released March 2001. That's a great song, and it's here newly remixed. So they're not unreleased tracks, they're newly remixed tracks. Trouble, Trouble, is from March 11, 75, from the Follow That Dream album, Sunset again. So a lot of these records came from the album Sunset. As a matter of fact, there's only a few that didn't, and that's Separate Ways, which I showed the original when I talked about this record a few weeks ago. That was recorded on March 27th, 1972 as well, and this track was from the record or the CD set A Life in Music, released July 15th, 1997. But I imagine these are the only time that they were mixed without the overdubs. As it says here, newly remixed without overdubs. So there you have it. But once again, this record is a must-have for any Elvis fan. I would think any even new Elvis fan that saw the movie with Austin Butler, that loved it, that has the soundtrack to that film, because you're hearing, remixed in that soundtrack, that Elvis original soundtrack, you're hearing remixed. What they've done is they brought Elvis as far out as they can. If you close your eyes, you can hear Elvis. What really stood out for me in this record was Ronnie Tutt's drumming, and of course James Burton's guitar. The drumming, you could sit back and just focus on his drumming, because he's right behind Elvis, uninhibited. It's crystal clear, and that's a term that I see a lot of folks use when they review these records, that the sound is very clear. I normally don't say clear, but that's a good way to kind of relay what I'm feeling. Very clear, but sonically very, very superior than some of the standard records that you get, that you see around with Elvis, especially the Pickwick or the Camden, that the Colonel just said, yeah, we're going to put Elvis out there as much as we can. So again, I love the record too, which is the outtakes. That's why I'm really clamoring to get that CD box set. Maybe I will break down and get that. I'm just going to go over the 72 bands here. You have James Burton, John Wilkinson with rhythm guitar, Charlie Hodge, acoustic guitar, harmony coach. That's Elvis's buddy. And I think he gave out scarves. Emery Gordy, bass, Ronnie Tutt, drums, of course, Glenn Hardin, piano. And the piano on this kicks ass. There's some real rockin' tracks. The rockin' tracks just stand out. Like I told my good friend Robbie from Detroit, who watches my channel, I watch his channel. I told him before in a footnote on one of his comments that you never heard Elvis like this, and it makes you happy, and it also makes you weep, because these songs, when Elvis does a sad song, it is a sad song from the heart. And a lot of these, they sound autobiography, as far as Elvis's life, getting divorced, losing his daughter, as far as, seeing her all the time, although I guess he stayed at Graceland. But you know what I mean, that feeling is there when Elvis was divorced for whatever reasons, his fault and maybe Priscilla's fault. So you have 1975 March, those sessions, which are from side D, James Burton guitar, Wilkinson rhythm, Hodge again acoustic. Now we have Duke Bardwell on bass, Ronnie Tutt on drums, Glenn Hardin on piano. We have a clavinet, David Briggs. We have J.D. Sumner and the Stamps, Tony Brown on piano, bringing it back. Really good stuff. And he also did some vocals, but really good stuff. I would think, you go out and pick this up either at your local record shop or local chain, because I believe the chains are actually going to have this record. I know Target is supposed to have it. I did go looking at Target. I looked at a record shop, but it wasn't out yet, so I was able to get one mailed to me. So really sounds good. That's the main thing. Very black, quiet. I talked about this, and my friend Robbie also told me, and I may have mentioned it earlier but forgot, the Graceland Elvis website has some yellow copies of this, yellow vinyl, 1,000 available, and he told me that is selling fast. So if you want a colored vinyl, which I'm really not into colored vinyl unless that's the only way to get it, I would pick that up. So once again, Sunset Boulevard, you're really going to be happy with this purchase. Elvis never sounded better, but how can you make Elvis sound better, right? New pressing, new remixes, really quiet pressing, no complaints. I was concerned with the way it was marketed for me, and for maybe person glancing over the press release, thought that these were unreleased, but that's my fault. Again, I think there could have been more things added to this record, perhaps a booklet, perhaps a poster for the fan, perhaps the inner sleeves that had information on it, but we do get the gatefold, and everything is here in the gatefold. So the box set, CD box set, I'm looking forward to my Elvis friends out there who have Elvis devoted channels. I'm sure they're all getting it. Maybe some of them have it already because I know the CDs were out. And I'm looking forward to watching those to see what exactly they think about the CD box set. Because the CD box set has everything that's on here. These are just considered highlights. And I'm kind of thinking this could have been a really good triple set with 2 records of highlights of the outtakes and 1 record of the masters. But the Presley people are into making money. Sony's into making money. RC's into making money. And they know that most Elvis fans are going to buy both regardless. So there you have it. Keep rocking. Hope everyone's doing good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Elvis. We have Elvis up here. Elvis is right here. Elvis is actually right there. He has a hat on today. So talk to you soon. Keep rocking. Ciao.